So today, in celebration of the 150th anniversary of Doshisha, the founding of Doshisha, we've invited an alumna from the Institute for the Liberal Arts, Laura Nam. And Laura graduated in March of 2016 and is now working in the global IT industry in cloud services. So my name is Greg Poole, and I'm one of the faculty members here at the Institute for the Liberal Arts. Thank you for your time today. So thanks, Laura, for taking time to come down from Tokyo.
Thank you. It's so amazing to be here again.
Yeah, it's great to have you back. It doesn't feel like it's been 7 years, but
I know,
it certainly
right?
has,
Yes.
hasn't it? Yeah. But I'm sure a lot has happened in your life since we last met, so this is a great opportunity to sort of catch up. But to begin with, going back to the beginning, I wanted to ask you, how did you sort of first discover the Institute for the Liberal Arts, and why did you decide to give it a shot and apply?
Yes. So I was born and raised in Korea, and even though I was in Korea, I always had this aspiration to study and work in an international atmosphere. And that's why I chose to go to a foreign language high school in Korea, and my major was English and Japanese.
Was this in Seoul, or?
It was near Seoul.
Near Seoul.
Yeah, it's
okay.
more close to North Korea, I would say.
Right, okay.
Yes. So, and back then, I was thinking of how can I study in an international environment. And at first, actually, I was thinking of going to a university in North America. So I studied SAT and AP.
Okay.
And my life changed in the second year of my high school. So there were many briefing sessions from universities from many different countries. They came to Korea, and then they had like a lot of introduction sessions. And since I wanted to study abroad, I went to many different sessions from universities. And when I went to Doshisha's one, I was like, this is it. This is my path. I really want to go there.
Wow. What caught your attention? Why did you feel that way all of a sudden?
Yeah, I think there were two reasons for that. First one is that I can study in English, but at the same time, I can choose my own major. So I can deep dive into that major, which is different from many other international faculties, right? So under great professors, I can deep dive into my major that I wanted to study economics and marketing. So a business cluster was very good choice for me. That was the first reason.
Right.
And then the second reason was that there is like a cultural aspect of studying in Kyoto. It's like the heart of Japan in a cultural way and many different ways.
Well, we like to think so anyway.
Yeah, we like to think so. Yeah, exactly. So studying in a very traditional city, but at the same time, it's a very international city because there are many international students here.
Yeah, lots of students.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So those two factors I don't know, I was just fascinated by those two factors. And also, thinking about the living cost and study cost compared with North America, it's much cheaper here, right? But it gives me more academic opportunities to seek for what I want to learn. And after graduating from ILA Doshisha, I thought that there might be more job opportunities for me.
Right.
So thinking about all those factors, this was the best choice and best option that I was able to choose. And out of all the options, I just chose ILA Doshisha. It was just I still think that it was the most right choice I've ever made in my life.
Great. Well, that's really good to hear. I'm so happy. And I was wondering though, did you study any Japanese before you came to Japan, or were you interested in Japan per se, or was it just the ILA Institute? I mean, the ILA program itself.
Since I went to a foreign language high school, I studied Japanese. It was my second major, but I wouldn't say that I was good at Japanese. I was just able to say some simple sentences in Japan, but not at the level to survive. But then in the introduction session of ILA, they were telling me that even though you're not good at Japanese, you still get to learn Japanese from our Japanese courses. And also, while living in Japan, you will improve your Japanese skills and you can learn everything in English, so don't worry about that part. So how brave I was. Even though I wasn't good at Japanese, I just, that's a right explanation, and I chose it.
That was really brave. And so how did it work out? Was it true?
It was true. Actually, in the beginning, this is a very interesting episode, but on my first day of Doshisha, I was looking for a washroom. And then I grabbed one person, I was like, where's the washroom? And I asked a question in English, and then they were like, just ran away. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to learn Japanese. But that was just like one funny episode. But after that, I started many part-time jobs.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I wanted to improve my Japanese. Living in Japan, not speaking Japanese, you can still live, you can still survive, and you can still learn many things in ILA.
Yeah.
But I think it's also a very good opportunity for you to learn Japanese. So I just chose to learn Japanese. That's what I did.
Right.
And then I started many different part-time jobs, and I made many Japanese friends. And also inside ILA, there were a lot of Japanese students who grew up in English-speaking countries. So while speaking with them, using two different languages, speaking with them, I was just naturally able to grow my Japanese skills.
Right. Well, then it's a great way to learn Japanese. If you're getting paid to learn Japanese, that's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yes,
right?
exactly.
During different part-time jobs.
Yes.
What kind of part-time jobs did you do, for example?
I did many different part-time jobs. The first one was I worked at a ramen restaurant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had this funny song.
Not kimchi ramen.
Not kimchi ramen. It's a Japanese ramen in
Okay.
tsukemen. Yeah, it's like a traditional dipping noodle in
tsukemen.
Japan.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's nice.
yes. I worked in that restaurant. And another job, this improved my Japanese a lot, but I was an English teacher for young children in Japan.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
So from elementary school kids, I learned Japanese from them.
Yeah.
Yes. So I was able to start from a very basic level of Japanese.
Right.
Yeah, that's where I learned Japanese.
The kind of 엄마 배고파 level of Japanese.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
That's Mom, I'm hungry in Korean, by the way.
So, do you have any like episodes at the ILA that you remember that stand out to you? Like maybe in class, like in one of your classes that you took, or?
I have many different episodes, but the favorite memory of mine is that I was able to go to Aomori, which is the northern part of Japan,
Oh, yeah?
and as a voluntary work,
wow.
and ILA offered me that opportunity. It was about explaining my own culture to people in Aomori. And I was able to do homestay there.
Wow.
Yes, it was so amazing. It was my first time staying in a Japan family.
Right.
Staying with them. And then also, I explained about Korean culture to junior high school students there. And then they just loved it. So it was really fun.
Wow.
Yeah, that's like one of the most memorable memories of my ILA life. I think ILA is really great because they don't only teach your major, but also they offer you many opportunities to learn about culture. I think that's also like another good factor of being in a liberal arts institute. You don't only learn like how to calculate. You
Right.
learn how to communicate with other people. You learn about other culture. You learn how to interact with people from many different backgrounds. So those opportunities that I was offered in ILA became like a real value in my current job also. So yeah, that's like my best favorite memory.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I think it's been said that Steve Jobs is the greatest living argument from the past 50 years anyway, for why a liberal arts education is invaluable. So in your view then, kind of expanding on this a little bit, how do you think the liberal arts education you received at the Institute for the Liberal Arts, how has that been valuable to you in your work and your life in general?
Yes.
Any specific,
Yes.
thoughts on that?
So I'm working at a global company right now, and I interact with people from many different backgrounds, different religion, different eating style, different speaking style, different languages. Everything is different. If I didn't study in ILA, I would have never known that there are such many different cultures all over the world, and I wouldn't be like able to speak with them with like open-minded, without prejudice. That's what gave me that's the biggest value I received from ILA.
Being comfortable in diversity.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Diversity is one of the most key important thing in our workplace right now. And then since I already know what diversity is and how to respect diversity, it was just natural for me to interact with people right now with different backgrounds. That's the biggest value. And the second biggest value is that, as I said, in liberal arts, you also get to learn about many different culture and like communication. There's one class I still remember. It was about communication.
Yeah.
And in that class, I learned how to use my body gesture and then like all body parts to be like well communicate with others. And still that class gave me a great strength to make a good presentation and to deliver my messages very clearly to others. And then that helped me a lot. Right now in my company, especially in a global company, it's very important to show your presence.
Yeah.
And it's very important to deliver your messages very clearly in a well-organized way.
Right.
And those things I learned in ILA, those has become very invaluable assets. And without those classes, I don't think I would reach to the level what I am right now. Yeah.
Right, right. Are there any other classes besides the communication class you took that are quite memorable to you?
My seminar, my graduation seminar was about economics, and I was able to choose my own topic, and my professor helped me a lot in like navigating through that topic, and it was about behavioral economics.
So you did a graduation thesis on
behavioral economics,
right,
yes.
Right,
and it was about how human beings act under some certain circumstances. Like people are risk averse and they don't want to take risk. So even though there are two options of making a better choice, people still become risky. And people choose not to become risky, I would say.
Yeah.
So that thesis was really interesting, and then it still makes me make a right choice when there's like a risk-taking choice and risk-averse choice. I still want to take risk-taking choice if there's more potential.
So you're not averse to risk.
I'm not averse to risk. I love taking risks.
Great. So that's I think a valuable lesson, isn't it?
Yes.
To learn. And in terms of taking risks or thinking about your future when you're here at the ILA, how did you envision sort of life after Doshisha, life after the Institute for the Liberal Arts? What was your vision, and did that vision sort of pan out the way you thought it would? Or?
Very interestingly, actually, it's exactly what I envisioned. So when I was in high school, I was thinking of studying abroad.
Yeah.
And then ILA was a great stage for me to get ready for everything, because I was able to develop my economic and marketing skills in the school, and then also I was able to learn culture, many different culture, and I was able to learn Japanese and English more, right? So those were the three things that I learned in ILA, and using that skill, I went into one of the biggest IT companies in Japan. That was the first step I took. And then after...
what company was that?
I worked at Rakuten.
Oh, Rakuten. Yeah,
Yes.
I think I've heard of it. Yeah.
Rakuten is a huge company in
it's pretty
Japan.
big.
Yeah, exactly. I still use Rakuten everywhere. Coming to Kyoto, I use Rakuten Travel to make a reservation for a hotel.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my experience in Rakuten was very awesome.
Right.
It was hard. I had to work a lot. But it also gave me power to endure all the obstacles. And also, my Japanese improved drastically in Rakuten.
Wow.
I joined Rakuten because I wanted to leverage my English skills, but life is not that easy. They put me to Kyoto branch of Rakuten Travel, and then I did domestic sales.
Wow, so you're in sales.
I was in sales in Rakuten Travel.
Wow.
And then I had
domestic, so you had to use your Japanese.
Exactly. And my counterparts were the CEOs of hotels in Kyoto.
Oh.
Yes, with 40 years, 50 years history of hotels. And then they were using very strong Kyoto dialect.
Right.
Yes. And to persuade them, it's very hard, you know? But that's where I learned my sales skills, communication skills, and very top-level Japanese, professional Japanese.
Yes, which is important.
Yes.
Did you have to use English as well? I know there's some non-Japanese hotels in Kyoto too. Then the CEOs might be non-Japanese, but
actually most of the
C
levels of Kyoto hotels were Japanese people. But instead of language skills, I was able to use my cultural experience, because we call them inbound customers. Many customers from China, Korea, United States, Europe, they're all coming. They love Kyoto. So those inbound customers, Rakuten is a very domestic platform. So we used to have a lot of domestic customers. So using my experience, I just gave some advice how to get more inbound customers into Rakuten, and also what inbound customers love, and I gave those advice to hotels. That's how I made that trustworthy relationship with hotels, actually.
So almost like a consultant.
Exactly. We were calling ourselves IT consultants.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. And so you worked at Rakuten, but you said that it panned out, your vision panned out exactly as you thought it would.
Yes. So working at a Rakuten was a great experience, and I was surrounded by so many good people that supported me. We call them senpai. They're like seniors of our company. And then they supported me a lot, so I became the top seller of Japan inside Rakuten Travel.
Wow.
Yeah, and thanks to that, from my current company, they sent me an email. Why don't you apply for our company?
So you got headhunted.
I got headhunted from my
and that was
current
part
company.
of your vision?
That wasn't part of my vision. I was going to apply by myself on my own, but then they reached out to me first, so it was better than what I envisioned, right? And then I first thought that it was a spam mail. I thought it was a spam because I always wanted to get to my current company.
Right.
I'm not able to say that company's name. If you are interested, please search my name on LinkedIn. It's Laura Dahinam. You can find out where I'm working at right now. But since I was in high school, I always wanted to work at this company. Yes. So when I got that email, I was like, this is not real. So for a week, I ignored it. And then after a week, I clicked on it. Oh my gosh, it's real.
Right.
So I opened it, I applied for it. And then the interview process was very difficult. It was very challenging. It challenged me a lot.
Right.
Yeah, but I made it, so I went to...
What aspects of that interview process were challenging? Because I know there's probably some students maybe at the ILA who are watching this video, and they might want to get some hints as to how the process works for being interviewed at a top-notch global corporation.
Yes. So that interview process looks at every single aspect of you. First one, obviously, are you smart or not? That's the first thing. Second one, do you
How do they check that though?
From interview questions.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. They deep dive into one question. They ask one question, and then if I answer something, they keep asking about that question again in a different way, and then deep dive. So that's how you check if you're smart enough. And the second one is leadership.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you a prepared leader or not? We believe that leadership is very important to work in a global company, so we value leadership a lot. And the third one is that are you collaborative enough or not? Because at the end, it's about working together with other people, right? So can you collaborate well with other people?
So that team aspect.
Exactly. Are you a good team member or not? Are you willing to help others? That's the third thing. And the fourth thing is that do you have role-related knowledge or not? So if like, for example, if you're a new grad, then this is less likely to be asked. But still, if you have done any internship or part-time jobs that can relate to the role you're applying for, then that would be like a super plus in that interview.
Specialized knowledge.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. In terms of coming back to leadership, what would you say is the definition of leadership in your experience in your job right now?
That's a very interesting question. I think everyone has different definition of leadership, but for me, one of the best leaders I have met in my career or even in my student life were those leaders who are strong but soft at the same time. Yes. So leaders with charisma and becoming very soft. So for example, you have a very aspirational goal to achieve some kind of like $1 million. It's very challenging. Everyone can be super intimidated. But becoming soft, for me, my definition means that you give very good directions to each one, to assign certain projects to each team member so that they can achieve that goal, and then we can draw the vision together. That's leadership in my opinion, and I keep trying to become that leader that can set an aspirational goal and then work together towards that goal. But at the same time, I assign certain jobs to each member so that we can collaborate together, and then they know what to do. Yes, give very good direction.
Wow. And so would you say you're in a leadership role at the moment in your company?
Yes, I'm managing the JPAC team right now. for 2 products. So yes, I'm in a leader role, management role right now.
In cloud services.
In the cloud services,
right,
yes.
Right.
But I'm still trying to grow.
Yeah. Well, and that industry is growing too, though, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think it sounds like it's a good industry to be in.
Yes.
For the future.
Yes, it's a future industry.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So it sounds like your vision really worked out, and you are in a job that you're really enjoying. You like the challenge. Where do you see yourself in terms of your work life anyway, in the next, in 10 years from now?
I still want to work at the same team for the next 5 years, because when I first joined this company, in the beginning I was in the ads team because I was doing ad sale in Rakuten. I used my role-related knowledge to work as ad sales in my current company also. I've done that for 3-4 years, and then after that I was thinking of what should be next? Because I was experiencing the momentum with my company. When COVID happened, ads industry became, it was like skyrocketed, and then it was one of the biggest topics all over the world, ads. It was all about ads, online ads. And what is after that? I thought about it, and I thought that it's cloud. Only handful of companies right now in Japan are using cloud, and then they're not fully utilizing to its maximum potential right now. But for upcoming years, almost every company is going to use cloud. Yes. We call it on-premise to use their own machine to store data, and we call cloud to use like cloud services. And then in the next 5 years, it's going to be not only triple, it's going to be 10x, in my opinion. Yes. So I want to learn and grow together and then experience another momentum together with my company in the cloud industry for the next 5 years. And after that, I also always have this dream to become an entrepreneur.
Oh.
Yes.
To have your own business.
Exactly. Please don't tell my company. No, actually, my company encourages people to become an entrepreneur.
I'm sure. They want that spirit in the company as
exactly.
well.
Exactly. Yes. So after that, I'm thinking of becoming an entrepreneur, and then I want to use my cloud knowledge and my management skills that I've obtained in my current company to become the leader of a company in after 5 years.
I see. Now, do you see yourself in Japan over the next 5 years? I know I know the company that you work for, and I know it's a very global company. So, are you based in the Japan section of this company, or could you be in London next year or in San Francisco 2 years from now?
I actually can definitely do that. If I apply for another position from other branches, I can do that. But I still believe that there are many things I can do in Japan. So I think for the next 5 years at least, I will be in Japan. I love working in Japan, actually. I love living in Japan.
So you kind of have a choice. In a way.
Yeah.
They don't just place you in other.
Oh, they don't do that. If you apply, then that's the only way you can go to other places.
I see. That's nice. So do you, you talked a little bit about your goals in terms of your work life, but I was wondering, do you have any vision for sort of what kind of person you think you want to become to contribute to the society maybe, in the future? What do you think, what sort of person, what sort of shakaijin do you think is really important for society in terms of developing
I want to give aspirations to young women in Japan, in East Asia actually. I want to become their role model in the future. Women can do anything, and you can become a strong woman leader like me in the future. I'm not being like arrogant right now. In the future, I want to become like that. I want to be a strong woman leader to show that you can do whatever you want, you can become whatever you want, and you have to the only thing you have to do is challenge. That's like some kind of message that I want to give to young people right now in Asian society. And the next thing is that this is also what I learned from my current company, but every year we do voluntary donation.
Oh, nice.
They have like dedicated amount of dollar value that is given to us that can be only used for donation. So if you don't use that money is gone. So it's like if you don't use it for donation, then it's nothing. So you really need to use that money for donation to make a better society. I think that's a very good and clever idea of company to make everyone contribute to our society. And I'm also thinking of something like that, to have a donation group to make a very meaningful donation to not only to Asian society but to environment issues. Look at this. This is the hottest November I've ever experienced, and if I can make a small change with my words, with my action, then I can make a big change, right? So that's something that another thing that I want to do.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, it's interesting that they sort of force you then to be creative in how you want to use that company money for the better good.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very good way of
So Laura, I was just thinking, you made me think about the role of women, the challenge that women have in both South Korea and Japan in industry. As we know, Japan, for example, is number 150 or something in terms of gender equality or inequality, we should say. And in the workplace and in politics and government, there's very, very few women in positions of power. And I think in South Korea, it's not that much different. So I was wondering what your thoughts are on that and how you talked about becoming a role model yourself. And so how can, as a society, how can Japan, how can South Korea change?
So can I say about my age here? So
yeah, of course.
I'm 30 years old this year, and then I'm already 30.
Yeah, hard to believe.
Yeah, I know, right? And then I think a lot of Japanese women in my age already got married or already have babies. And then living in Japan for more than 10 years, whenever I speak with other women, I think they always envision themselves in their future to become a mother of someone or a wife of someone. And that's not I want to create some kind of message or image that doesn't have to be a norm. If you want to get married, yes, you can get married. If you want to have a baby, of course you can have a baby. But if you want to become an entrepreneur without a husband or without a child, of course you can do that also. If you want to become a leader of a company, of course, you can do whatever you want. But that has to be on your own choice. If I become a strong leader, and then if I become some kind of like an icon of just working as a single woman, no matter how old I am and no matter my background is, then that can give a message to women that it has to be on your own choice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I know this is a very sensitive topic, but I clearly want to say that every choice has to be made on your own choice.
Yeah, that's important, I think. And I think there's a lot of societal pressure in Asia, generally, for women to fill certain roles and certain stereotypes. And so I think there's maybe a lack of role models. Would you agree with that?
I agree with that, yes. Thankfully, in my current company, in my current team, there are many female leaders. Actually, almost all of them in my segment are female. And that gave me a huge aspiration. I want to become like her. And then just having someone like that, such a strong woman leader, in that position just gives me power. Yeah. And that's very important to have some kind of role model. But I think that's because we're a global company. Many Japanese companies should also consider having many female leaders.
Do you feel a difference? So you worked for a large Japanese corporation and now you work for a large global corporation that originally is American but is very global. So what differences do you see in terms of this gender divide?
For example, in my company, every year we do gender equality and diversity training sessions. It's compulsory training that you have to go through every year, and then you learn about all the prejudice that you don't even realize. So I'm pretty sure that everyone, if they take this lesson, they would be like, I didn't know that was gender inequality, or I didn't know that was like I was, having prejudice towards that. Yeah, those kind of things. You can learn new things from those training. That surprised me a lot. And the second thing is that we always look at the ratio of gender when it comes to not only employees but also leaders at my current company. I think that training or looking at the gender ratio that doesn't mean that you have to hire more female without their skill set or without their experience. It's more like you consider that as one of the KPIs that the company should aim for.
Key performance indicators?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And but you didn't see that as much at the Japanese corporation you work for. You see that more.
I see that more in a global company.
I see. Good. So you've talked about your ambition to become, in the future anyway, in the not so distant future, to become an entrepreneur. Do you have any ideas for what sort of business you might want to do, or is that kind of a work in progress?
It's work in progress, and Professor, I have so many ideas about this. I can talk about this like every day, every night.
Right.
I have many ideas, but
well, that's where it starts.
Yeah, exactly. In the beginning, like back in my life, I was thinking of having a little cafe. Unsweetened desserts without sugar. Like I was thinking of those things, but then right now I'm in the cloud industry, so I'm thinking more in a tech-savvy way of how to make some technical startup that can have a good positive impact into the society.
Wow.
So yeah.
Using technology.
Using
for
technology.
The better good. Yeah.
Yes.
For the greater good. Nice.
Yes.
So finally, I want to ask if you have a message for our audience here, not only the students who are looking to graduate from the ILA or from Doshisha, but also students that might be thinking about, as you were 10 years ago now, or more than 10 years, 12 years ago, thinking about where am I going to apply to college? What sort of program do I want to go into? Do you have any message for either for those two groups of students, the graduating group who are starting their shukatsu, and then the other group of students who are considering applying to the ILA?
Okay, I would first like to start with those who are graduating soon. You're going to go through many interviews, you're going to analyze many companies, but don't be afraid. Do not ever underestimate yourself. I applied to many huge corps when I was in university because I wasn't underestimating myself. I thought that I must challenge to any companies that I want to work at. That's the first thing. And the second thing, I'm going to give you more practical advice. When you think about the answer or when you think about certain projects that you want to work on, just make X and Y. X is feasibility, Y is impact. What is more feasible that has a bigger impact? Then that should come to the first priority. You have many things to do, and it's very important for you to prioritize well. So the biggest priority should come with the highest feasibility and the highest impact. And then next comes, it's up to you, but for me it's more less feasibility but higher impact. And then next one is very feasible, but less impact. And then the last comes less feasible, less impact, but has potential in the future. So you have to think in that way to come up with your answer. That's how you do your job, your shukatsu, or whatever you do in your future life when you have to make a decision. And for those who are thinking of applying to Doshisha or applying to many universities, I'm going to give you just one simple advice. Challenge. Do whatever you want to do. For me, when I first joined ILA, I wasn't that good at Japanese, but I tried many different part-time jobs. And during my university life, I even worked at a recruiting company. And I did some kind of like internship there. It was a recruiting company.
Wow.
And then I made many phone calls to random people. Are you interested in applying for another job? And then when I told my friends that I was working at that company, they were like, but is that relevant to your shukatsu, job hunting or not? And then, well, it's not directly connected, but whenever I was doing an interview with other companies, they thought this experience was very interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sounds very relevant to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, it's like a sales activity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't be afraid, challenge whatever you want to do and experience a lot, make many friends, especially from different backgrounds from myself.
Right.
You feel very comfortable with sticking together with the people from your own background. For me, of course, I was like that too, but I try to make many different friends from different backgrounds, and that helped me a lot in getting better of communicating with others and understanding others. So please don't stick around with the same background people, but please experience a lot, go many different places in Japan, find out new opportunities, and challenge a lot. That's my message towards students.
Great, great. Well, that's a great message. It's very, I think it's a very powerful message, and hopefully it's motivational as well.
Hopefully.
So, yeah. Well, thank you so much, Laura, for taking the time to come all the way from, you're based in Tokyo, right?
I'm based in Tokyo, yes.
So coming all the way from Tokyo today to be with us, and I'm sure our audience really appreciates your time today as well as I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.